Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gamble with SimplerOptions.com, and in today's free video I'd like to give you a couple ideas on how you can trade not just an ETF, but then also the tickers that comprise a given ETF. So what we're looking at tonight is XLU, the Spider Utilities ETF. When we look at this chart, there's a lot going on in this particular chart, but some of the things that I really like to see are that we continue to do a really good job of holding the pullback down into the 21 EMA, and then in relation to our previous swing high to swing low, which I would take from 46.61 back down into this low, you have cleared what would be the 618 retracement of that move. Anytime you clear that retracement, it bodes well for a move into testing the 1272 extension. So just that technical pattern looks good. Combined with a squeeze, which is an area where we know we're about to have an explosive move, it's a great area to get positioned for it. Now I know that I may have to hold through a move down into here, but overall the pattern still looks very good, and I'm looking for a move into these extensions. Now playing the ETF in itself is a great way to do it, but you can take this one step further and start looking at the components that make this up. So the most heavily weighted in that ETF is Duke Energy. So when you look at this chart, okay, we don't have a squeeze on the daily, but the weekly has fired long, and we will look great to make a run up into its next extension. So you just like to make sure that the primary holdings in that one look good. Now, breaking it down into setups that I would actually suggest trying to take, I like to find situations where the tickers that are inside of that ETF also have squeezes. So these are going to be the big movers of this. In the case of NEE, this looks like a great opportunity. Now it was a little tricky because you had the drop to start the day, but overall the trend here still looks excellent, and provided you hold that swing low, that also still looks very good. When you consider which of these will offer the best opportunity and should be the easiest to trade, also try to find those that have not already made their weekly extensions. So when I look at a chart like this, I just say that you have to, if you're going to play the ticker, you have to acknowledge that the weekly extensions have been made, but there is no way I'm going to short it. So if you're buying this daily chart, acknowledge that the weekly have made targets. Some of the more attractive positions you can get into are situations where the weekly chart has not made its broader extension, suggesting that the daily may have a little bit more room to the upside. So when we look at the weekly chart of Southern, we're going to do the exact same thing, taking our major swing high against our swing low. You'll notice that it has also added its extension, but has tried peeking up through it just a bit. Still a clearly bullish chart, but just recognize that you may have to hold through a little bit of a pullback if that ticker doesn't move immediately higher. The third one that I'm going to cover for today's discussion fits the criteria a little bit better, and this is with Dominion. So when we're analyzing this is the most attractive of the three individual stocks that I have shared, primarily because the weekly squeeze has not fired, nor have we made those extensions. So when you run the exact same moves, you can see that this one still has a little bit of room to run up here into 76.32. When you drop back down into the daily chart, we are nestled right against that 21 EMA, and I'm looking for those to fire long. So hopefully that gives you some thoughts to trade into next week, some thoughts on taking ETFs and breaking them down into the individual components, and hopefully we will see you guys at the next free video.